The ship drifted silently through the vast emptiness of space. Commander Kate Mason sat in her quarters reviewing mission reports. Her assignment was simple: observe the newly discovered planet and report back to Earth Command. No contact, no interference, just observation. Kate sighed as she placed her tablet down. The loneliness of deep space missions always got to her eventually. 3 years away from Earth meant 3 years without human touch, without conversation that wasn't transmitted across millions of miles of emptiness. She rubbed her tired eyes and decided to make one final check of the systems before sleep. The alert came without warning. A soft beeping that gradually increased in volume. Kate frowned. This wasn't a scheduled communication. She moved quickly to the bridge, her heart racing. Something had breached the ship's outer hull. Standing in the airlock was the most beautiful creature Kate had ever seen. Tall, with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with each movement. Long limbs moved with graceful precision as the being tilted its head, studying Kate with eyes that contained galaxies. Deep purples and blues swirled within them. Kate stood frozen, unable to speak. "My name is Lyra." The alien spoke, her voice melodic and clear in Kate's mind. "I come from the planet you observe. I sensed your loneliness across the void." Kate swallowed hard. Aliens weren't supposed to have telepathic abilities. They weren't supposed to be standing in her airlock, looking at her with eyes that seemed to see straight into her soul. Protocol dictated immediate retreat and notification of Earth Command. Kate did neither. "How did you get aboard my ship?" she asked instead. Lyra moved closer, her movements fluid like water. "Your technology is primitive but effective. My kind has traveled between stars since before your species learned to create fire." Her lips curved into something resembling a smile. "We have been watching you watching us, and you decided to just walk into my ship," Kate said, trying to maintain her composure despite the situation. Lyra tilted her head, a gesture that seemed both alien and familiar. "I was curious about the Watcher, the one who stays awake when others sleep, the one whose mind calls out across the darkness." Kate felt heat rise to her cheeks. Had her thoughts really been so loud that they could be heard across space? She straightened her uniform, trying to regain some sense of control. "I should report this contact. Protocol is very clear," she said, more to herself than to Lyra. The alien woman moved further into the ship, her long fingers touching the walls with gentle curiosity. "Your protocols were created by those who have never met us. They fear what they do not understand. Do you fear me?" Kate Mason. Kate watched as Lyra explored the bridge, her movements graceful despite the unfamiliar environment. The truth was, she didn't feel fear. What she felt was fascination, wonder, and something else. Something she wasn't ready to name. "No, I don't fear you," she admitted. "But that doesn't change my responsibility to Earth." Command Lyra turned those galaxy eyes toward her. "They wish to know if we are a threat, are you?" Kate countered. The alien woman's skin shifted to a soft blue shade, a color Kate would later learn signified amusement. "We have existed for millennia without destroying ourselves. Can your species claim the same?" The first days were tense. Kate knew she should report the contact, but something stopped her. Lyra was fascinating. She learned Earth languages with incredible speed. Abandoned telepathic communication. When Kate mentioned it, made her uncomfortable. The alien shared stories of her civilization that made Kate's head spin with wonder. Her people were peaceful explorers, scientists and artists, who valued knowledge and beauty above all else. Kate taught Lyra about human customs, music, art, literature. The alien was particularly fascinated by human emotions. "You feel so intensely," Lyra remarked, as they watched an old Earth film, tears streaming down her alien face at the sad ending. "It is beautiful and terrible." Kate found herself opening up to Lyra in ways she'd never done with another person. She spoke of her childhood in the small town of Greenfield, her dreams of space that had driven her to join the Earth Space Agency, the loneliness that had followed her even as she achieved everything she'd ever wanted. Lyra listened with those galaxy eyes that seemed to see everything. Her presence on the ship shifted from unwelcome intruder to Welcome companion Kate began to look forward to their conversations, to the quiet moments when they'd sit in the observation deck, watching the stars or Lyra's home planet spinning below. After 2 weeks, Kate realized she had stopped sending real reports to Earth Command. Her daily transmissions were fabrications claiming no signs of intelligent life. The guilt gnawed at her, but the alternative, sending soldiers to capture and study Lyra, was unthinkable. One night, as they shared a meal, Kate finally asked the question that had been bothering her since Lyra's arrival. "Why did you really come here?" Lyra's skin rippled with colors Kate had learned to recognize as thoughtfulness. "My people have been observing yours for generations. We watch, we learn, but we do not interfere. That is our way." She paused, her eyes shifting to look directly at Kate. "But sometimes there are connections that transcend protocol. Souls that call to one another across the void. I felt your mind, Kate Mason. Bright and curious, and so very alone. It reminded me of myself." Kate felt her heart skip a beat at the implication. Was Lyra suggesting some kind of cosmic connection between them? The idea was both ridiculous and strangely appealing. "So you're saying you broke your people's rules because you felt sorry for me?" Kate tried to keep her tone light. Lyra shook her head, her skin flushing with warm golden hues. "I broke our rules because in all my years of watching Earth, I had never encountered a mind that felt so familiar, so right." The words hung between them. Kate didn't know how to respond, didn't know if she should. The professional part of her, the part that had dedicated her life to Earth Space Agency, knew that any personal connection with an alien species was inappropriate, dangerous even. Yet another part of her, the part that had been lonely for so long, yearned to reach out. Days turned to weeks. Kate found herself sharing more and more with Lyra, teaching her Earth Games card tricks, even how to cook simple meals in the ship's kitchen. Lyra, in turn, demonstrated abilities that seemed like magic. Small devices that could heal wounds instantly, materials that changed properties with a thought. Kate recorded everything in her personal logs, never in the official ones. One evening, as they sat in the observation deck watching the stars, Lyra placed her hand over Kate's. Their fingers intertwined, alien and human. The touch sent electricity through Kate's entire body. "In my culture, this is how we begin the bonding," Lyra said, softly. Her skin glowed with soft pinks and purples. When two souls recognize each other, Kate knew she should pull away. But the warmth of Lyra's hand, the sincerity in those galaxy eyes, made it impossible. Instead, she found herself leaning closer, drawn by something she couldn't name, couldn't fight. "What happens next?" she whispered. Lyra smiled, her free hand rising to trace the line of Kate's jaw. "We learn each other until there are no secrets, until two become one." Kate closed her eyes as Lyra's cool fingers traced patterns on her skin. She knew she was crossing a line that could never be uncrossed, but in that moment, with the stars as their witnesses, she couldn't bring herself to care. The universe had given her something extraordinary, someone extraordinary, and Kate Mason, who had always followed the rules, always put duty first, was about to break every protocol in the book for the chance at something she had never expected to find so far from home: love. The first kiss sent electricity through Kate's entire body. Lyra's lips were cool but quickly warmed. Her skin seemed to pulse with light as they embraced. Kate knew she was breaking every rule in the book, but the universe had given her something extraordinary, someone extraordinary. Their relationship evolved quickly after that night. Lyra explained that her species experienced emotions more intensely than humans. Their connections, once formed, were deep and lasting. Kate worried sometimes that she was just an experiment to Lyra, a human specimen to study and discard. But those fears faded whenever those galaxy eyes looked at her with such tenderness. 1 month after Lyra's arrival, Kate received an urgent transmission from Earth Command. A research vessel was being dispatched to her location. They had detected unusual energy readings from the planet. Her heart raced as she read the message. The ship would arrive in 2 weeks. Their secret was about to be discovered. "I have to tell you something," Kate said that evening as they lay together in her quarters, Lyra's skin glowing softly in the darkness. "Earth is sending another ship, They suspect something. Lyra's colors shifted to deep blues of concern. How long? 2 weeks, maybe less. Kate reached out to touch Lyra's face. We need a plan. They can't find you here. Lyra was quiet for a long moment, her eyes swirling with thought. I could return to my world, she said finally. Hide until they leave. Kate felt panic rise in her chest at the thought of separation. What if Lyra never came back? What if her people forbade her from returning to the ship? The thought was unbearable. Or I could come with you, she suggested, her voice barely a whisper. Lyra sat up, her skin flashing with surprise. You would leave your post? Your mission? Kate nodded slowly, the realization crystallizing as she spoke. I care more about you than any mission. Her hand found Lyra's, their fingers intertwining, I think. I'm falling in love with you. The alien woman's skin erupted in a riot of colors, pinks and golds and colors Kate had no words for. In my culture, she began, her voice trembling. We believe that souls find each other across lifetimes, across species even, that there are connections formed before birth that cannot be broken. She leaned closer, her forehead touching Kate's. I have waited many cycles to find you, Kate Mason. I will not lose you now. They spent the next days preparing Kate, downloading all her research findings to a private server, erasing any evidence of Lyra's presence from the ship's logs. She packed lightly, knowing she could take very little to her new life. She recorded a final message for her family, explaining that she had found something wonderful, something worth leaving, everything for but providing no details that might lead Earth forces to follow. Lyra taught Kate about her world, a planet with 2 suns and 3 moons, where the sky was never truly dark. Her people lived in harmony with nature, their cities built within enormous trees that reached miles into the sky. They were peaceful primarily, but not defenseless. Their technology was so advanced it would seem like magic to humans. You will be the first human to walk among us, Lyra explained. There will be curiosity, perhaps some fear, but you will be under my protection. My family is respected among my people. Kate tried to imagine it, a world of beings like Lyra, their iridescent skin, their fluid movements, their telepathic abilities. How would she fit, and would she ever truly belong? She pushed the doubts away. The alternative, staying without Lyra, returning to the loneliness of her former life, was unthinkable. The night before they planned to leave, Kate made a final transmission to Earth Command, a routine update with falsified data. She felt a pang of guilt for her deception, but her loyalty had shifted. Her heart belonged to Lyra now, to the future they would build together. As she finished the transmission, the ship's alarms blared. Kate froze, her blood turning cold. That sound meant one thing only. Another ship had entered the sector. They had arrived early. Lyra appeared at the door to the bridge, her skin pale with concern. They are here, she said simply. Kate rushed to the scanners. It was, indeed, an Earth vessel larger than her own research ship, a military class with weapons capabilities. They had come prepared for first contact. Whether peaceful or not, we have to go now, Kate said urgently. They will dock within the hour. Lyra nodded, but her expression was troubled. There is something I must tell you, she began. But the ship's communication system crackled to life, interrupting her. Commander Mason, this is Captain Linda Morgan of the Earth vessel Horizon. Please respond. Kate hesitated, her hand hovering over the communication controls. She looked at Lyra. Those galaxy eyes filled with worry and made her decision. She pressed the button to activate her end of the communication. Captain Morgan, this is Commander Mason. I read you there. Was a pause. Then prepare for docking, Commander. We have detected unusual energy signatures from your vessel. Are you experiencing technical difficulties? No technical difficulties, Captain Kate replied, trying to keep her voice steady. Just running some experiments. She muted the communication and turned to Lyra. We need to get you to your transport now. They moved quickly through the ship, gathering the last of their preparations. Kate changed out of her uniform into civilian clothes packing, a small bag with personal items and the data chips containing her research. She hesitated over the photo of her family before slipping it into her pocket. A last reminder of the world she was leaving behind. Lyra's transport was hidden on the dark side of the ship, a small, sleek vessel that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. It had remained undetected by the ship's sensors thanks to technology. Kate could barely comprehend as they reached the airlock. Kate heard voices behind them. Earth personnel had boarded earlier than expected. She pushed Lyra forward. "Hurry," she whispered. They reached the transport just as footsteps echoed down the corridor. Kate could hear Captain Morgan giving orders to search the entire ship. Lyra pressed her hand against the side of her transport, and a door appeared where there had been none before. She turned to Kate, her skin cycling through colors of fear and determination. "Come," she said, extending her hand. "We must go." Now Kate took one last look at the ship that had been her home for 3 years. She thought of Earth, of the life she was abandoning, the career she had worked so hard to build. Then she looked at Lyra, at those eyes that contained galaxies, at the being who had crossed space itself to find her. The choice was clear. She took Lyra's hand and stepped into the transport. The door sealed behind them with a soft hiss. Lyra moved to the controls, her long fingers dancing over symbols that glowed at her touch. The transport hummed to life. "They will detect us when we move," Kate said, her heart pounding. "They might fire." Lyra turned to her with a small smile. "No, they will not." Her hands continued their intricate movements. The view screen showed the Earth ship growing larger as it approached Kate's research vessel. But around their small transport, the stars began to blur. "What are you doing?" Kate asked in wonder. "Taking us home," Lyra replied. "My people do not travel as yours do. We do not push through space." She paused, her skin glowing. With gentle blue light, we slip between its layers. The transport shuddered, the stars outside stretching into lines of light. Kate felt a strange sensation, as if her body was being gently pulled in all directions at once. Then with a flash, they were elsewhere. The view screen showed an unfamiliar star system. A large planet dominated the view, its surface a swirl of purples and greens. 2 suns glowed in the distance, one bright yellow, the other a soft red. 3 moons orbited the planet, each a different size and color. It was the most beautiful sight Kate had ever seen. "Welcome to my world," Lyra said softly. Her hand found Kate's and squeezed gently. "Welcome home." As they approached the planet, Kate felt equal measures of excitement and terror. She was about to become the first human to set foot on an alien world, the first to live among an advanced species. Her scientific mind raced with questions, while her heart swelled with love for the being beside her. Whatever waited for her on the surface of this strange new world, Kate knew one thing with absolute certainty. She had made the right choice. The transport descended through wisps of lavender clouds toward the surface below. Kate Mason, explorer scientist, now became something else entirely, the first human ambassador to the stars. The transport descended through lavender clouds toward the surface of Lyra's world. Kate pressed her face against the view screen, drinking in the alien landscape below. Massive trees reached toward the sky, their trunks wider than Earth skyscrapers, their canopies spreading for miles between them. Glittering structures rose and fell, following the natural contours of the land. Nothing harsh or angular, everything flowing like water frozen in time. "Is that your city?" Kate asked, her voice filled with wonder. Lyra nodded, her skin shimmering with pride. "We call it Elara, the place of learning. It is where I was born, where I studied your world." She gestured to a particularly large structure nestled among the giant trees. "That is the Hall of Knowledge, where we keep the records of all worlds we have observed. Including yours." Kate felt a momentary unease at the thought of being studied for generations. Her world observed without their knowledge. But hadn't she done the same to Lyra's people? She pushed the feeling aside, focusing instead on the beauty before her. As they drew closer, Kate could see movement figures moving among the structures. Some flew using what looked like wings of light. Others traveled along transparent tubes that connected the massive trees. Their bodies all had the same basic humanoid shape as Lyra, but with variations in size coloration. Even the number of limbs. Your people are so different from each other. Kate remarked, "We value diversity." Lyra explained, "Each form has its purpose, its strength. We choose how we appear as we mature based on our calling." She touched her own chest. "My form is that of a scholar, one who studies other worlds. Our leaders take different forms, as do our artists, our builders, our healers." Transport slowed as it approached one of the enormous trees. A section of the trunk seemed to ripple and part, creating an opening, just large enough for their small vessel. Lyra guided them inside into a vast hangar where other transports rested. Kate saw immediately that Lyra's vessel was smaller, sleeker than the others. "Is your ship special?" she asked as they docked. Lyra's skin darkened slightly. A reaction, Kate had learned, signified embarrassment. "It is not authorized for interspecies contact," she admitted. "It is a research vessel, only I borrowed it without permission." Kate raised her eyebrows. "You stole a ship to meet me." Lyra tilted her head. "I prefer borrowed. But yes, I broke many protocols to find you." Her galaxy eyes fixed on Kate. "Was it worth it?" Kate leaned forward, pressing her lips gently against Lyra's. "Absolutely," she whispered, as the transport door opened. Kate felt a moment of panic. What if she couldn't breathe the air? What if the gravity was too strong? What if Lyra's people rejected her, killed her even? But Lyra had assured her that their worlds were compatible. Their science had confirmed it long before they had ever approached Earth. The air that rushed in was sweet and thick, like breathing through honey for a moment. Kate felt dizzy, her lungs working harder to process the oxygen-rich atmosphere. But soon her body adjusted. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, giving her movements a slight bounce that would take some getting used to. Waiting for them at the docking platform was a small group of beings similar to Lyra, but with subtle differences. One taller, with skin that shifted between deep greens and blues, stepped forward. Its eyes similar to Lyra's, but with rings of gold around the galaxies within. "Lyra, you." Return another voice spoke directly into Kate's mind. "And you bring one of them." Lyra moved protectively in front of Kate, her coloration shifting to bold purples and reds. "This is Kate Mason of Earth. She comes in peace as my bonded." The taller being moved closer, studying Kate with those ringed eyes. "You formed a bond without council approval. This is unprecedented. Your actions endangered our observation protocols." Kate felt her heart sink. Were they about to be separated before their life together had even begun? "I take full responsibility," Lyra said, her voice firm. "But I do not regret my choice. The bond is true. Elder Mira. You can verify this yourself." The being called Elder Mira extended a long, fingered hand toward them both. Kate felt a gentle pressure in her mind, like a door being knocked upon. She looked questioningly at Lyra. "She wishes to confirm our connection," Lyra explained. "They must be certain I have not been coerced or that you are not a threat. Allow her in, Kate. It will not harm you." Kate nodded, closing her eyes as she did. A warm presence filled her mind, gentle but thorough. Examining her memories of meeting Lyra, their growing relationship, her decision to leave Earth behind, Kate felt tears spring to her eyes as she relived those moments, the joy she had felt, the love that had grown between them. After what seemed like hours but was likely only minutes, the presence withdrew. Kate opened her eyes to find Elder Mira regarding her with what appeared to be surprise. "The bond is genuine," the elder projected to them both. Her skin had shifted to soft pinks and lavenders. "This is unexpected but not unwelcome." She turned to address the others. "The human stays under Lyra's protection. She will be registered as a diplomatic guest until the council can fully assess the situation." Relief washed over Kate. She hadn't realized how tense she had been until that moment. Lyra took her hand, their fingers intertwining. "Thank you, Elder," she said aloud, as they were led from the docking area. Kate tried to take in everything at once. The interior of the massive tree was hollow, formed into levels connected by spiraling ramps. The walls pulsed with soft light, revealing intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move. The other beings. They passed, stopped to stare at Kate, some projecting curiosity, others wariness. None seemed overtly hostile. Lyra led her to a transport tube, a transparent cylinder that moved horizontally through the tree. "This will take us to my dwelling," she explained. "It has been prepared for your arrival." The tube moved swiftly, giving Kate glimpses of the alien city. Life hummed everywhere. Beings communicated telepathically and vocally, their skin colors shifting with their emotions. They wore no clothing as humans. Understood it though, some had decorative elements attached to their bodies. Metallic swirls or crystalline structures that caught the light. Lyra's dwelling was located high in the canopy of the tree. A series of connected chambers with walls that seemed to be made of living wood. The furniture, if it could be called, that was formed from the same material growing directly from the floors and walls. "It is beautiful," Kate said as they entered. "It is yours now too," Lyra replied. Her skin glowed with happiness as she showed Kate through the space. A sleeping area with a bed-like structure that seemed to float above the floor. A bathing chamber where water flowed continuously down living walls, collecting in a pool before being recycled. A food preparation area with unfamiliar implements. "I have acquired some earth foods," Lyra said, opening a container to reveal fruits and vegetables that looked remarkably normal. "There are similarities between our nutritional needs. You can eat most of our foods as well, though some may taste strange to you." Kate felt overwhelmed by it all. The reality of her situation was finally sinking in. She had left everything behind: her career, her family, her entire species. She was truly alone here except for Lyra. Seeing her expression, Lyra moved closer, wrapping long arms around her. "I know this is difficult," she said softly. "You have given up much to be here." Kate leaned into the embrace, drawing comfort from Lyra's presence. "I don't regret it," she assured her, "but it is a lot to process." She looked out through the transparent outer wall at the alien landscape beyond the strange sky with its two suns. "I never imagined I'd see another world like this." Lyra led her to a sitting area. Her fingers danced. Over a control panel and a holographic display appeared, showing Earth as seen from space. "There are ways to send messages," she said, "though we must be careful. Earth governments must not learn of our existence yet." "Not until they are ready," Kate nodded, understanding the caution but grateful for the possibility of contact. "I would like to let my family know." "I'm safe," she said. "At least that much." They spent the evening learning each other in this new context, Kate marveling at the alien technology that seemed to blend seamlessly with the natural world, Lyra explaining the basics of her society, their governance, their beliefs, their history. Kate tried to absorb it all, though she knew it would take years to truly understand this new world. That night, as they lay together in the strange floating bed, Kate asked the question that had been on her mind since their arrival. "What happens now, Lyra? What will my life be?" Here Lyra turned to face her, those galaxy eyes soft in the dim light. "You will learn our ways as I learned yours. You will teach us about humanity beyond what we have observed. You will be a bridge between our worlds. The first, but perhaps not the last." She traced Kate's face with gentle fingers. "In time, when your people are ready for the knowledge of our existence, you may even return as an ambassador." Kate considered this a future she had never imagined, yet one filled with purpose, and Lyra would be by her side. The thought filled her with a peace she hadn't expected. "What about us?" she asked, her voice soft in the darkness. "Where do we go from here?" Lyra's skin glowed with warm golden light. "We continue our bond," she said. "If you wish it, we can formalize it in the tradition of my people. A ceremony of joining." Kate smiled, her heart full. "Is that like marriage?" Lyra nodded. "It is similar, though the bond goes deeper than words or promises. It is a sharing of minds, of souls. A true joining in my culture," Kate said, taking Lyra's hand. "This is how we begin." She leaned forward, pressing her lips to Lyra's in a gentle kiss. The days turned to weeks as Kate adjusted to life on Lyra's world. She learned to navigate the city of Alara, to communicate with its inhabitants both vocally and through the rudimentary telepathic abilities she was developing with Lyra's help. The atmosphere remained thick to her earth lungs, but her body was adapting. The lighter gravity made her feel almost weightless at times, giving her movements a grace she had never possessed on Earth. Lyra had been assigned as Kate's official guide and cultural interpreter, a role that suited their relationship perfectly. Each day brought new discoveries, new wonders that made Kate wish she could share them with her fellow humans. The technology alone would revolutionize Earth science, healing devices that could cure almost any illness, energy systems that drew power directly from the planet's core, without pollution materials that responded to thought. But the Council remained firm. Earth was not ready for contact. The human species was still too divided, too prone to violence. The observation would continue until they showed signs of greater unity, greater peace. Kate was allowed to send one message home. A brief communication to her family letting them know she was alive and happy, but providing no details of her whereabouts. The message would be routed through multiple systems, making it untraceable. She struggled with what to say, how to explain her disappearance without causing more questions. In the end, she kept it simple. I am safe. I am loved. I have found my place in the universe. Please don't worry about me. I will always carry you in my heart. 3 months after her arrival, the Council summoned them. Kate felt nervous as they approached the Great Hall, a massive chamber within the largest of the city trees. Lyra squeezed her hand reassuringly. They have been deliberating your status, she explained. They must decide if our bonding will be officially recognized and what your role here will be. The chamber was filled with beings, of various forms and colors, all with those same galaxy eyes that Kate had come to associate with Lyra's people. They sat in concentric circles around a central platform, where Elder Mira stood with several others. Kate recognized as community leaders approach, called a voice in her mind. Kate and Lyra stepped onto the platform hand in hand, the eyes of the entire council upon them. Kate felt a moment of panic. What if they rejected her? What if they decided she must return to Earth? She couldn't bear the thought of leaving Lyra now. Lyra, Scholar's daughter, the Elder addressed them. Your unauthorized contact with the human, Kate Mason, has created an unprecedented situation. The Council has reviewed the memories you both shared, the depth of your connection. Yue paused, her eyes focusing on Kate. We have also studied you, human. Your adaptation to our world, your willingness to learn our ways, your respect for our customs. Kate stood straight, trying to project confidence despite her fear. We have reached a decision, Elder Mira continued. The bond between you is recognized as true and binding. Kate Mason of Earth, you are granted citizenship of Alara with all rights and responsibilities. Therein, relief flooded through Kate. She felt Lyra's hand tighten around hers, her skin pulsing with joy. But the Elder wasn't finished. However, there are conditions, she continued. You will continue your studies of our ways, but you will also serve as a cultural ambassador, teaching us about humanity in ways our observation alone cannot capture. And she paused, her expression serious. You will undergo the memory preservation. Kate looked questioningly at Lyra, whose skin had suddenly paled. What is that? She whispered. I will explain later. Lyra projected privately. For now. Accept. It is a great honor. Kate nodded, turning back to the Elder. I accept, she said formally. Thank you for this opportunity. As they left the council chamber, Kate could feel the excitement radiating from Lyra, her skin shifting through happy colors of gold and pink. What does this mean? She asked as soon as they were alone. This memory preservation, Lyra led her to a quiet garden area, one of many scattered throughout the city. The plants were unlike anything on Earth, some responsive to touch, others glowing softly in the shade of the great trees. It is our highest honor, she explained. Once reserved only for our greatest scholars and leaders. She took both of Kate's hands in hers. Your memories, your experiences, your understanding of humanity will be preserved in the great archive accessible to future generations. Kate frowned. That sounds invasive. Lyra shook her head. No one can access without permission. The memories remain yours, but they are protected from loss, from death. Even, they become part of our collective knowledge. She looked deeply into Kate's eyes, but there is more to it than that. The process, it changes you, changes me. How Kate asked, suddenly wary, it extends life. Lyra said simply, those who undergo the preservation, their bodies are enhanced. Their cells no longer age at the same rate. She squeezed Kate's hands. You would live as long as I do. Perhaps longer. Kate felt dizzy at the implications. How long do your people live? She asked. Lyra hesitated. We do not measure time as you do, but by Earth standards. Several centuries at least. Several centuries. The words echoed in Kate's mind. She would outlive everyone she had ever known on Earth by generations. She would see the rise and fall of human civilizations, perhaps even witness humanity's eventual contact with Lyra's people. It's a lot to take in, she admitted. We have time, Lyra assured her. The procedure is not immediate. There are preparations, mental and physical. You must be certain. That evening, they celebrated their official recognition. As a bonded pair, Lyra had arranged a gathering in their dwelling, inviting those she'd grown closest to during Kate's time in Alara. Several had become friends, particularly Nira, a healer who had helped Kate adapt to the planet's atmosphere, and Torin, a historian fascinated by Earth culture. They brought gifts according to local custom items to enhance their shared dwelling, foods from regions beyond the city. Even a small creature like a cross between a cat and a butterfly that purred and glowed in the dark as it floated around the room. Kate had mastered some of the local cuisine, blending Earth techniques with alien ingredients. The resulting feast was a true fusion of their worlds. The evening was filled with laughter, with stories, with the joy of connection across differences that once seemed insurmountable. As their friends departed, Kate found herself standing by the large window overlooking the city. The dual suns had set, but the 3 moons illuminated everything in soft, multicolored light. Lyra came to stand beside her, wrapping an arm around her waist. Happy, she asked. Kate nodded, leaning into her embrace. Happier than I ever imagined possible, she admitted. But also I miss Earth sometimes. Not enough to return, she added quickly, seeing Lyra's expression. But just small things. The smell of rain, the sound of birds, the taste of chocolate. Lyra turned Kate to face her, her skin glowing with determination. I have something to show you, she said. Taking Kate's hand, she led her to a room they rarely used, a small chamber Lyra had described as a meditation space. Inside, the walls suddenly shimmered and changed. Kate gasped as she found herself standing seemingly in the middle of a forest on Earth. She could smell pine trees here, birds singing, even feel a cool breeze on her skin. How she whispered, reaching out to touch a tree trunk. Her hand passed through it, revealing the illusion. It is a simulation. Lyra explained, based on our observations of your world, we call it the memory chamber. She touched a control panel on the wall. The scene shifted to an ocean, beach waves crashing against the shore, the smell of salt in the air. I have been working on it for you. Programming Earth environments. Kate felt tears form in her eyes at the thoughtfulness of the gift. You did this for me. Lyra nodded, her skin soft with affection. I know what it is to miss home, even when you love where you are. She gestured to the control panel. You can program any environment you remember. The chamber will create it for you. Kate turned in a slow circle, taking in the perfect recreation of an Earth beach, a gift beyond price. The ability to visit home without leaving her new world. She pulled Lyra close, kissing her deeply. Thank you, she whispered. Against those alien lips, I love you. Their bonding ceremony took place 2 weeks later under the light of all 3 moons. Kate wore a garment Lyra had created for her, a flowing robe that changed colors with her emotions like the skin of Lyra's people. Lyra herself glowed with happiness, her natural luminescence enhanced for the occasion. The ceremony blended traditions Kate had described, earth vows of love and commitment paired with the ritual mind joining of Lyra's people. As they stood before Elder Mira, their hands and minds linked, Kate felt a completeness she had never known. Catherine Mason, take you, Lyra of Alara, to be my partner, my love, my home. Across stars and worlds I pledge myself to you. As she spoke the words, she felt Lyra's mind entwine with hers deeper than ever before. Their memories flowing together, their hearts beating in sync. The connection was overwhelming, beautiful. Beyond words, Kate could feel Lyra's love washing through her like a physical force could feel. Her own love reflected back, amplified. When the joining was complete, they were truly bonded in the way of Lyra's people. Their minds would always carry an echo of each other, their souls recognized as one by all who saw them. The celebration lasted well into the night, the entire community gathering to welcome their union. Kate danced under alien stars, her earth body moving to music unlike any human had heard, and through it all, Lyra remained by her side, their hands rarely separating, their minds now comfortable in their permanent connection. 5 years passed on Lyra's world. Kate had fully integrated into life in Alara. Her position as cultural ambassador had evolved into something more significant. She now served on the council itself, the first non-indigenous being to hold such an honor. Her insights into human thinking had proved valuable as the council debated when and how to eventually reveal themselves to Earth. The memory preservation had changed her physically. Her aging had slowed almost to a stop. Her mind had expanded, allowing her to access and process information at speeds that would have seemed impossible to her human self. The telepathic abilities she'd developed with Lyra's help were now second nature, allowing her to communicate effortlessly with all the citizens of Alara. Yet despite these changes, Kate remained fundamentally human. Her heart still quickened at the sight of Lyra entering a room. Her soul still yearned occasionally for the familiar sights and sounds of Earth. She still kept the photograph of her family, though the edges had worn from frequent handling. Earth itself had changed in those 5 years. Though the planet remained unaware of the existence of Lyra's people, they had continued to advance. Their technology improved, their space exploration expanded. They had even established a permanent base on Mars, a development that had caused much discussion among the council. The humans' progress is remarkable, Elder Mira noted during one council session. Kate could sense the mix of admiration and concern in the elder's mind. They move quickly, perhaps too quickly. Kate had become accustomed to the careful deliberation of Lyra's people. Their tendency to consider all implications before acting, a stark contrast to humanity's rushed innovation. They are driven by their short lifespans, she explained. They feel they must accomplish everything quickly because they have so little time. The council had recently begun discussing more direct observation. A proposal had been put forward to send observers to Earth itself disguised as humans to gather more detailed information about the species' readiness for contact. Kate had mixed feelings about the plan. On one hand, she understood the caution. On the other, she longed for her two worlds to connect. That evening, as Kate and Lyra relaxed in their dwelling, an urgent communication came through. A transport had been detected approaching the planet, an Earth vessel. Kate felt her heart race with both excitement and fear. How had they found this world? Had they tracked her somehow? Despite the years that had passed, she still felt protective of her former colleagues, still cared what happened to them. The council convened immediately, Kate and Lyra rushing to attend. The great chamber hummed with concerned telepathic communication as information was shared. It appears to be a research vessel. Elder Mira announced, one ship only, small crew. No weapons detected. They seem to be on an exploratory mission. Should we hide the city? Toran, the historian, asked. Our technology can shield us from their sensors. Kate listened to the debate, feeling strangely torn. The human part of her thrilled at the thought of contact with her own kind after so long, but she also shared the concerns of her adopted people. Humans were unpredictable, potentially dangerous if frightened. I have a suggestion, she said, finally rising to address the council. Let me contact them. I can serve as intermediary. Explain the situation. She looked around at the beings who had become her family, Her community. Their galaxy eyes fixed on her with trust. I can help them understand the importance of discretion. There was a long silence as the council members communicated telepathically. Kate waited, respecting their process. Even after years among them, she was still sometimes excluded from their mental group discussions. Her human mind, despite its enhancements, still different in fundamental ways. Finally, Elder Mira spoke. We agree, Kate Mason. You will make contact. The ship will be guided to land in the outer forests away from the city. You will meet them alone at first, with Lyra observing from concealment. Kate nodded, understanding the caution. Thank you for your trust, she said formally. I will honor it. Preparations moved quickly. Kate selected clothing that would appear normal to human eyes, though the material was of Elleran make. A small transport was prepared to take her to the landing site. As she made ready to depart, she turned to Lyra, her heart suddenly tight with emotion. What if they want me to return with them? She whispered, voicing the fear that had been growing since the ship's detection. Lyra took her hands, her skin warm and reassuring. You are bonded to me, Kate Mason. Her galaxy eyes held such love, such certainty. Your home is here now. But she paused, her colors shifting to show her own fear. If you wish to visit Earth, to see your family again, I would understand. Kate pulled Lyra close, burying her face against that familiar iridescent skin. I would only go if you came with me, she said firmly. My life is with you. Wherever that may be. The Earth ship landed in a clearing several miles from the nearest Elleran settlement. Kate watched from the cover of the forest as the vessel powered down. Its design had evolved since her time with the Earth Space Agency. Sleeker, more efficient, but still recognizably human technology. She felt a strange pang of nostalgia behind her. Hidden among the massive trees, Lyra and several council members watched, ready to intervene if necessary. Kate straightened her clothing, calmed her mind, and stepped into the clearing. The ship's door opened and 3 figures emerged. Their environmental suits suggested caution about the alien atmosphere. Kate smiled. At the familiar protocol, she had followed similar procedures herself once. When the world was new and unknown, she waited until they had completed their initial sensor readings before approaching. One of the figures spotted her and froze, pointing. Kate could imagine their shock at seeing what appeared to be a human woman walking casually on an alien world. She raised her hands in the universal gesture of peace and continued forward. When she was close enough to be heard, she called out, Hello, I am Kate Mason, formerly of Earth Space Agency. Welcome to Alara. The lead figure rushed forward, stopping a few feet away. Kate could see a woman's face through the helmet visor, her expression one of absolute shock. Kate, she gasped, the voice coming through the suits. External speaker Kate Mason. Kate tilted her head, studying the woman. Then recognition dawned. Commander Kate Mason, she asked incredulously. Alive. The woman removed her helmet, revealing a face Kate had known well. Allie Reeves, her former colleague and friend. The years had added lines around her eyes, gray to her once dark hair, but the expression of determined curiosity remained unchanged. We thought you were dead, Allie said, her voice trembling. How are you here? Kate smiled. Gently, I have a long story to tell you, she said, and I need you to listen carefully before you report back to Earth. Command over the next hours. Kate explained. Everything. From Lyra's arrival on her research ship to her decision to leave with her, the development of their relationship, her new life on Alara. She spoke of the Alaran people, their peaceful society, their advanced technology, their long observation of Earth. She emphasized their caution, their desire for humanity to evolve further. Before official contact was established, Allie and her crew listened with increasing amazement as Kate spoke. When she had finished, Allie shook her head in wonder. You really married an alien, she said, and have been living among them for 5 years? Kate nodded. I did, and they have become my people as much as humans are. Though I will always be a daughter of Earth as well. And they don't want us to tell anyone about this back home. Allie clarified. Not yet. Kate confirmed. The timing isn't right. It could cause panic fear. Even violence. The Council believes humanity needs more time to overcome its divisions, to mature as a species. Allie looked skeptical. You expect us to discover an advanced alien civilization and keep it secret? Kate smiled understanding. The dilemma she had once been in Allie's position. The scientist who wanted to share every discovery, am asking you to trust me, she said. As a friend, as a fellow explorer. Think of what rushed contact could mean. For both our peoples, after much discussion, Allie agreed to a compromise. They would report finding traces of an ancient civilization on the planet. Ruins, suggesting a species long extinct, nothing to suggest current habitation. It would allow Earth to continue exploring the system without immediately seeking contact, a way to buy time for more careful preparation. Would you like to meet one of them? Kate asked when the agreement had been reached. Allie's eyes widened. You mean? Kate turned toward the forest and called out mentally. Lyra, they are ready. From the shadows of the massive trees a figure emerged, tall and graceful, her iridescent skin shifting colors in the sunlight. Those galaxy eyes fixed on the human visitors with gentle curiosity. Allie and her crew stood transfixed. As Lyra approached, may I present Lyra of Alara? Kate said formally, scholar diplomat. She paused, smiling softly. And my wife. The meeting lasted hours longer. Lyra answering the crew's questions, sharing limited information about her people. Kate watched, with pride as her two worlds began the first tentative steps toward understanding. The joy on Lyra's face as she finally spoke directly with humans after years of observation. The wonder on Allies as she communicated with a being from beyond Earth when it was time for the Earth crew to depart. Kate felt a strange melancholy. Not regret for the life she had chosen, but awareness of the road not taken. She embraced Allie tightly. Tell my family. I'm happy, she whispered. Tell them. I found where I belong. Allie promised, though they both knew she could never explain the full truth. Still, it was something a connection maintained, a bridge begun.